News 2 at 11.
Good evening. I'm Gabriel Johnson. Today, the South Carolina Supreme Court suspended Magistrate James Gosnell Jr. after his arrest this morning on federal charges related to possession of child sexual abuse material. The complaint alleges that agents with the Department of Homeland Security investigations received a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children about several financial transactions with a known distributor of child sexual abuse material in the United Kingdom, which took place in November of 2024. We're told payment came from an online account associated with Gosnell's known phone number, address, and email. Agents obtained a search warrant for his home and devices where they located a flash drive containing numerous videos and images depicting child sexual abuse material. We reached out to Gosnell's lawyer, who said he is scheduled to appear in court for a bond hearing tomorrow. You can count on 2 for that coverage. Tonight, the latest in the investigation into Tyler Robinson, the man suspected of killing conservative influencer Charlie Kirk last week. This afternoon, Robinson appeared before a judge and the country for the first time since he allegedly shot Kirk. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray says Robinson faces several charges, including aggravated murder, for which he could face the death penalty. He's also being charged with several other felonies, including discharge of a firearm causing bodily injury, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and more. On the day of the shooting, authorities say Robinson sent multiple text messages to his roommate shortly after he fled the scene. In that text conversation, Robinson claims that he is the one who shot Kirk. Robinson says he had been planning the attack for about a week and had asked his roommate to delete those messages. However, Gray says his roommate has been cooperating with police. In the messages, Robinson admitted political motivations for shooting Kirk. This assassination has sent shockwaves throughout the country and deepening political divides. Politicians are now reminding Americans that violence is never the answer.
So as we talk through what happened and what's the appropriate response, what's not the appropriate response that will help, I want people to be assured there will be justice, but I also want people to be assured there won't be vengeance. That's reserved for the Lord.
Police also found a handwritten note in Robinson's apartment, as well as his DNA on the trigger of the rifle that was used to shoot Kirk. We are actively following this case, and you can count on 2 for all important updates on air and online at counton2.com. The latest campus fallout in South Carolina. One Coastal Carolina University employee has been dismissed and another has been suspended without pay in light of a social media post made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, according to a statement from the university. State Representative Russell Fry, whose district includes Horry County, took to social media on Monday in response to an alleged post by a Coastal Carolina employee, and he pushed the university to take action quickly. In a statement sent to our sister station, CCU says these disciplinary actions were taken in line with school policy, but say no further details are available as of now, calling it a personnel matter. You can count on 2 for any additional updates. State lawmakers held a meeting with campus safety, talking with South Carolina's public universities following recent events, such as Charlie Kirk's assassination at a university in Utah, a swatting hoax at USC, and threats against HBCUs in the Southeast. Lawmakers met with campus safety officials and discussed current security protocols to ensure people are safe on campus. They asked law enforcement officers from several public universities across the state about protocols and if they need anything from them to help with protection. For example, South Carolina State University says they have 10 sworn officers, but they need 20. They are asking for more funding to hire additional officers. State law enforcement officials, or SLED, are also calling for legislation that can better help them protect students on campus.
SWAT legislation that actually was a little bit more stringent. A lot of these SWAT calls happen from people outside the state. So to be able to actually extradite those individuals back to South Carolina, map the universities as they continue to grow, so that, like we saw last few weeks ago with USC, being able, so the responders sort of know where they're going.
SLED says so far, between 2024 and 2025, they have assisted at nearly 80 university events across the state. State University law enforcement says it's important to have help from SLED, and it's crucial to adjust safety plans in real time because they can always continue to improve. Dorchester County EMS is trying a new approach to care with a community paramedic program. Instead of every call ending in an ambulance ride, residents can now get direct help and connections to resources. The community paramedic program was created to remove barriers that keep people from getting the right care. Everything from helping families with broken medical equipment to connecting residents with some home health services. Paramedics say in the first month, they handled dozens of calls and have been able to send community paramedics to about half of the calls that would have otherwise required an ambulance. They also do follow-ups for overdose recovery, help with mental health referrals, and partner with local doctors, nonprofits, and fire services. EMS leaders say the program is already making a difference thanks to Angelina Johnson, who is the paramedic in charge of responding to these calls, and they hope to add more community paramedics each year.
People really like the idea of more personalized, controlled, slower interactions to where we can really unpack what's going on, whether it's, they just didn't know what was out there, what was available, if they were able to communicate with their doctor's office, like, hey, I need some home health care services. I can be kind of the liaison between that because I am mobile and I'm able to get into people's homes versus, other people that can't.
County leaders say this program is still in its early stages, but the goal is to expand it and build a model other communities can follow. News 2 is your local election headquarters. Tomorrow, Dorchester County Councilman Jay Byers will hold a news conference to officially announce his candidacy for Congress in South Carolina's 1st congressional district. Byers says he will fight to secure the border, stop inflation, find solutions for the home affordability crisis, and issues specific to our area. He's set to announce tomorrow morning at 10 at Ashley River Park. It's National Voter Registration Day, and here in the Lowcountry, local voting and election offices are working to get out the vote. There were many voter registration initiatives happening across the area today for National Voter Registration Day. The Charleston County Board of Voter Registration and Elections held several events encouraging voters to prepare and register in time for elections. Municipal elections are set for November 4th across the Lowcountry, meaning that voters will be choosing key local leaders like mayors, city, and town.
The impacts of voting in these elections, I feel, is far more direct, and we kind of experience more day to day. These decisions made by the local elected officials are incredibly important for our day-to-day lives, our everyday lives, and also not as many people vote in these local elections, so often the margins of victory for whoever's elected are very small. So it just is more of a reason to realize that your vote really does matter.
Some dates to remember. The deadline to register in person is October 3rd. The deadline to register online is October 5th, and the mailed applications will be accepted if they're postmarked by October 6th. Again, there are many events like this one happening throughout the month as we approach that registration deadline. To check your registration status or to register to vote, you can head to scvotes.org. Tomorrow, Coast Guard Sector Charleston is hosting a recognition ceremony honoring 4 members of the Charleston Harbor Branch pilots for their heroic efforts back in March. The 4 harbor pilots assisted with the recovery of personnel from a yacht that sank after striking the Charleston Harbor North Jetty. No injuries were reported in that crash, and we're told the crew will be presented awards tomorrow morning at the Charleston Branch Pilots Association to honor the selfless actions of the 4 harbor pilots. Firefighters in rural areas often face a major obstacle, access to a water source, but 2 new trucks coming to the St. John's Fire District are solving that problem. Fire officials recently traveled to Sumter, South Carolina for final inspections of their locally made and brand new twin water tenders. They say each of the trucks carry 3,000 gallons of water going wherever there is a need. These will be the only 2 in the district, one replacing the existing water truck at Station 3 and another going to Station 5. Several rural locations on Wadmalaw Island and Johns Island. The fire chief says the trucks will not only benefit the community during emergencies, but just having them in the area could have an impact on insurance rates.
The big important thing is that they can help with their insurance rates as well too. Some of the rural areas that are away from hydrants will raise your insurance rates for fire protection because you're so far away from water. These trucks strategically placed may be able to help people with their insurance rates.
The fire chief says one of the water trucks is expected to arrive tomorrow.
Next on News 2.
A psychologist explains how social media can make some people vulnerable to developing an eating disorder and offers advice on how to help. Next in our To Your Health report.
And time to go fishing coming up tomorrow. In fact, it looks like another gorgeous day to get out on the water. Find your favorite fishing hole. High tide about 5 o'clock in the morning for the early risers. Low tide 11:01 in the a.m. Southerly wind at 5 knots. Rain chance very low at 10%. And the lake and harbor temperatures remain in the upper 70s. Hey, don't forget about 92.5 Kickin' Country, one of our radio partners playing our Storm Team 2 weather forecast. You're watching News 2 at 11.
Hispanic Heritage Month is sponsored locally by Myers Law Office.
News 2 is excited to kick off our Hispanic Heritage Month. Now through October 15th, we're highlighting the Hispanic influences that make a major impact in our area. As the Lowcountry's population continues to grow, so does its Hispanic population. And each year, Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations get even bigger. The celebration will have something for everyone. This year, there will be an environmental cleanup at Lake Moultrie on September 20th, a tropical fiesta in Mount Pleasant on September 28th, Latin American Festival on October 5th, and a Zumba fiesta at Crunch Fitness on October 12th. The goal is to bring people of all kinds together to listen, learn, and celebrate.
Can find activities that people can ask questions. Sometimes we assume that all of us are Mexicans or all of us speak Spanish and which countries speak Portuguese, and it's just to learn how the diversity is our community and the population that we have here, always trying to connect with the local community.
This Friday in North Charleston will be the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration that is free and the public is welcome to attend. Georgetown native Melissa Jefferson Wooden is making history in Tokyo and is looking to make even more tomorrow. The multi-time Olympic medalist is at the World Athletics Championships, where she broke a world record on Sunday, clocking the fastest time ever in the women's 100-meter. Tomorrow, Melissa will compete in the 200-meter race, with heats scheduled to begin at 6:30 a.m. The semifinals are scheduled for Thursday, and the final is on Friday. Join us in cheering on Melissa, and you can catch her on the track on Peacock, and be sure to join News 2 Today for the results. Man, Melissa is crushing it.
I love that.
It's great to see. She's setting records.
It's pretty fast.
Really
no
is.
doubt about it. But we did a great story. Delilah did up in Georgetown. Her whole family kind of rooting her on from here. So yeah. Georgetown making she's making them very proud.
She is. Congratulations to her.
All right, weather-wise, how about this? Georgetown had a great day today, and really everybody did. In fact, it's been a fantastic evening. Saltwater Cowboys and Shem Creek is where our camera is located. That's part of the Skyview 2 camera network. As we wrap up your day, we started at 61. That's about where we're going to start tomorrow morning, too. 84 was our high temperature. We'll probably be in the same neighborhood tomorrow afternoon. 86 is the average high. 97 the record in 1980, and no rainfall. It's been relatively dry since we had all of that rain a couple of weekends ago, at about an inch for the month so far, 36 for the year, and we're down about 3.66 inches. Generally, we see about 52 inches per year here in Charleston. In the tropics, a couple of areas that we're watching. One is right on the cusp of developing into something tropical. You can kind of see it there. It's a very broad storm, this wave, but the Hurricane Center has identified this as potentially becoming a tropical system. The next name on the list is Gabrielle, giving it a 90% chance, and you can see how big it is. And then east of there, just off the continent of Africa, you've got this little swirl here that also has the possibility of developing, but it's only 20%. But even if it does develop, our models are hinting at a turn more to the north and eventually northeast, maybe away from Bermuda, and certainly north and east of the islands. We hope this pans out. This appears to be the way it's going to go based on the steering. Also, there's another factor thrown into the mix. That is the Saharan dust. It's very thin as it moves across the central Atlantic, but very thick as we move into the far eastern Atlantic. So a lot of these waves having a hard time maintaining just because of that reason. And here's that dry air with the dust. So we'll see if this one does develop. Some of the models do take it into hurricane category, but again, right now, nothing for us to worry about. Still a lot of time to watch and track, and we will. Mostly clear skies, comfortable temperatures, 63 for the inlet areas and 66 along the coast. Moving on into your Wednesday hump day, we call it. We can see the weekend now. 85 your high tomorrow, upper 80s then on Thursday and Friday. We'll see plenty of sunshine all through the rest of the work week, and then a few more clouds on Saturday and Sunday, but still a pretty good weekend. Maybe a little bump up in that probability of precipitation late on Sunday, and Monday is the first day of fall. If you're heading to the beach, you're picking a great time to do just that, with sunshine and low 80s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. A few more clouds, but still okay at the beach this upcoming weekend. And it was okay on a 3-degree guarantee. Only missed it by 1 today for making strides against breast cancer. Got the big walk coming up October 4th. Another $100 from Budget Blinds means $1,000 so far is money in the bank.
To Your Health, sponsored by Dr. Sunny O Plastic Surgery and Med Spa.
If you scroll through social media, you are bound to come across a video of an influencer talking about what they eat to stay skinny. And while that may seem harmless, it can actually trigger some people to develop an unhealthy relationship with food.
Social media exposure leads to body dissatisfaction, which in turn increases risk for eating disorders. And several studies have found a significant association between social media use and lots of different types of disordered eating patterns, including binge eating, purging, severe restriction, and orthorexia, which is this pathological fixation on clean or healthy eating.
Dr. Casey Goodpaster is a psychologist who says women tend to be more vulnerable to comparing themselves on social media and to developing eating disorders. And that could be due to a couple of reasons. One of them being that women generally internalize thin ideals, while men internalize muscular ideals. Dr. Goodpaster adds that women also spend more time on social media, which means more time comparing themselves and viewing potentially harmful content. So what can be done to stop that?
So one action item is to try to spend less time on social media, but also what accounts we follow it's going to affect what we come to view as normal. So trying to do what we can to change that algorithm by unfollowing accounts that tend to make people feel bad about their bodies or encourage these disordered eating behaviors, or quickly scrolling past when that kind of content comes up. But meanwhile, following other accounts that are more body positive.
Dr. Goodpasser says some signs a person may have an eating disorder include being overly restrictive with food, constantly exercising, negative body comments, and weighing themselves multiple times a day.
Next on News 2.
Lightning strikes twice for the CFC men's soccer team. I'll explain after this break.
This is the News 2 Truck World Sports Desk, sponsored by Palmetto Ford, the symbol of trust in the Low Country, and built Ford proud for over 56 years.
Good evening, I'm Dan Fanning. Winning is the great elixir. It can energize an organization or a fan base or cover up flaws. And South Carolina and Clemson have a number of them. Earlier this afternoon, USC head man Shane Beamer did not have an update for starting QB Lenore Sellers' status for Saturday at Mizzou, saying an injury report will be released Wednesday night. Reports are Sellers is in concussion protocol after leaving the Vandy loss in the first half with a head injury. If Sellers can't go against the Tigers, Luke Doty is penciled in right now as the starter. Lenoris and the rest of the offense haven't gotten a rhythm so far this season. Shane dismissed a notion today for the offense to have more success. 16 needs to run the ball a little bit more.
I've never said, and no one in this building has ever said, we need to run the quarterback less. Like, I hear all this crap about they're not running the quarterback enough. We're calling the same goddamn plays we called last year, guys. And we're not saying we need to run Lenoris less. I'm not getting on you, Jack. I know there's like this conspiracy theory going back to the bowl game that we see it don't run Lenoris as much. We're running Lenoris plenty. And some of those are reads where Lenoris can hand it or pull it and keep it. Some of those are RPOs where he can run it or throw it. And there's some of those are called design runs that he runs. And I would say every week we want to do what we need to do to win the football game. We ran him the other night. We ran him against Virginia Tech. We ran him against South Carolina and South Carolina State. And teams aren't dumb either.
After a 1-2 start at Clemson for the first time since 2014, the Tigers are in a bit of turmoil. Dabo saying earlier today, nothing is going to steal his joy. It's frustrating and it's a little nasty, in Swinney's words, as we have a society now that's normalized nastiness and hate and criticism. Dabo doesn't feel criticism. He doesn't let it in. He went on to say in another classic rant, if you didn't believe in them because they've lost 2 games that came down to the last play, you didn't believe in us anyway.
If Clemson's tired of winning, they can send me on my way, but I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. Hell, I'm 55. I got a long way to go. Y'all going to have to deal with me for a while. I got a long way to go. I'm just getting going. I'm just now good enough to be a head coach. I'm just now figuring it out. So we'll be around a while. Let's hang in there.
On a positive note, for the second time this season, the CFC men's soccer team has upset a top 15 opponent. Cougs downing 15th ranked Furman tonight in Greenville. Thanks to Noah Gold's free kick in the waning minutes of the first half. Check out that celly. It was the Paladins' first loss of the season. And Rob has one more check of your Wednesday forecast when we come right back.
Here's a look at our Wednesday coffee cast. That first cup of coffee in the morning time, 6 a.m. early, 63, not too bad, 67, sunshine by 9 a.m. We're going to go 9 on the Fowler factor tomorrow. This was a 10 today. We'll go 9 tomorrow. Just a few more clouds, but still nice and pleasant. High temperature of 85. But again, enjoy this fantastic weather while it's hanging around.
Oh yeah, can't complain too much. Felt great
no
today.
No complaints. Nobody's in the complaint department
at
all. Nobody behind me.
Not at all. So thank you so much for staying up with us for News 2 at 11. That's all the time we have tonight, but the news continues online at counton2.com. Have a great night.